View groups. View groups is right below the Mix Select button. The Mix Select button, go back to left, right, it's white. You can change it to whatever color you want, of course, by like that down there. We talked about that earlier. The left, right button, you can do all the different mixes. You can go there, reverb, delay, VCA, subs, whatever. Let's go back to the bass where we were. Remember I said the bass player has in-ear monitors? He has his own mix and it's stereo. What we want to do is make sure that he doesn't accidentally start messing with somebody else's mix. So let's use his iPad and set it up the way we want him to have access to different things. Here's his iPad, and I just turned it on, and it's letting me know the DL32 is running a different show than this iPad. The two must be synchronized, which can take up to 2 seconds per snapshot and 30 seconds per image. Which show would you like to use? If we choose iPad, then that is going to force the entire system to switch to this show. We do not want to do that. You almost always want to choose DL32R. And so that's what we'll do. So now we're running the same show as all the other iPads and iPhones. Let's go back over here to his mix. Okay, and there it is. Now let's go up here to the gear icon, and we're going to go to access limits. What we're going to do is we do not want him to be able to change anything except his mix. We want to make sure that he doesn't mess with anybody else's stuff. So let's lock him out of everything except his mix, which is 7 and 8. 7, 8. And then we could hit the lock button and put a password in if we want. I trust him. He's not going to go in there and change this. He doesn't know how to anyway. Let's go back out of here with this little gear icon up here. Now you can see he doesn't have any gain. He doesn't have any compression. He doesn't have EQ, nothing. No pan sliders. All he has is faders and his master fader. But I will go back and make sure that he can use the pan sliders for his stereo in-ear mix. He's looking at a whole bunch of channels that he doesn't need. This is where view groups comes in. So let's go back to view groups. What we're going to do is, right below the monitor mix select is 6 different choices. Right below the mix select button is where we choose the view group. Right now we have all selected. That means the bass player sees all the channels in the entire mixer. He doesn't need that. So let's choose what he sees and what he doesn't. So let's click down here below. It doesn't matter where. And you get to now choose a view group. You create your own view group. None of these would be here. They would all be empty. Let's look at view group B for the bass. He only has faders that he needs to see. Nothing more. Now, that's on the main iPad. What I'm referring to is the main iPad. My iPad, the iPad that I'm going to use to run the main mix for the audience. Commonly referred to as front of house, FOH. So we're going back to his iPad now. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that he is using view group B for bass. But you'll notice he can't change the view group. That's because we locked him out of that. So what we need to do is we need to go back down here. There it is. Now when we go back, now he can choose view group. Right there. So we're going to click on this. We're going to click, I hit that wrong. We're going to hit B for base. Then we're going to go back up here and we're going to lock him out of that so he doesn't accidentally change it again. Now the bass player is using his view group and he won't accidentally mess with anybody else's monitors. Real nice. These are the different view groups. There are 6 of them, A, B, C, D, E, F. Below those choices are a couple of buttons. Let's look at the Assign button. You'll notice View B tab is already selected, and the view group name is Bass. The green buttons are the channels that the bass player wants to see and maybe change. This may be a little confusing. We have 2 basses. That's a different bass. This is his bass. And I'll go over that in a minute. But these are all the things that he wants to see. We can look at C, which is Charles. These are all the channels for Charles's mixer. I should say Charles's iPad. If we look at A, that's FOH, front of house. I've gotten into the habit of using the 6th view group, F, for front of house. That leaves A, B, C, D, E for musicians. That just makes more sense to me. So you have 6 view groups. Very convenient. Let's close this. Let's go back to our mix, left, right. And you can see that we have, why don't we see all of our other channels? Well, it's because we're using the left-right mix, but we're viewing the mixer from the perspective of the bass player. We want to see our view, front of house. So now we get to see all of our channels. And there they are. You'll notice a whole bunch of those channels that we added a while ago. Those are not seen now. We can look at all. And there they are. Right there. But we don't want to see those. We just want to see what we want to use. And that's how simple a view group is. Now let's go back. Remember we hit the Assign button where we saw where we assign the different channels to this particular view group. Let's look at the button below that. Multi-select. If that's turned on, you can choose multiple. Let's say you're the bass player and you're in charge of the guitar player's mix as well. So you may want to see your view group and his view group, which means it's going to include all the channels that the guitar player would want to change and the bass player. So I can see where multiple view groups would be sensible. When you choose what you want, boom, it's gone. Again, you turn multi-select on. You can choose multiple things if you want. Okay? All of that works the same way with regard to mute groups. And that's what we're going to talk about next.